What is up, you all? Welcome back to Timster. Today we're discussing why Apple Vision Pro is actually the way to go. Actually has tons of upside, including that crazy price, right? So let's go ahead and talk about it. Now there's three pillars to what's going down. The first phase as to why Apple Vision Pro is going the right way, because they're focusing heavily right now in augmented reality. In augmented reality, the best example for what's going down in augmented reality and it being so popular was Pokemon Go. You literally go and you go find Pokemon and it shows you that distribution of in actual real time, and you're looking around and you see these avatars, you see these Pokemon, and augmented reality shows that, where it's bringing in that portion into your real life attributes around your room, around just outside in the environment. That's what augmented reality does, and that's the power of augmented reality. So that's kind of our next level and our relevant recent tech aside from artificial intelligence. Right now, augmented reality is what's helping out that form of virtual, that form of tech, throw some extra spice into the reality of our life right now, our physical realm. So I believe Pokemon Go was just so popular and it went ecstatic everywhere because it just what the tech was doing, and just it involved you just searching around and going in environments and being able to do stuff, and it was mainstreamed at that moment, and they did that really well. Like Pokemon Go really transcended the tech and what we can do, and it's similar to what augmented reality filters are doing right now, and then now like artificial intelligence. So these two are kind of our relevancy of newer tech moving forward in our generations, and it's very familiar and people understand it right now because it's a slower adaptation versus just a huge leap in tech. It doesn't seem too gimmicky to people right now, and that's what Apple Vision Pro is actually utilizing a lot right now. Is augmented reality to businesses and to overall corporations to help with workflow and actual like computing. They want it to be a spatial computer, a hand tracking, eye tracking, and more. The next pillar that Apple Vision Pro is actually focusing on is mixed reality. Now this comes along with Quest 3 also, and this comes along with Apple Vision Pro. But what Apple Vision Pro is doing right now, mixed reality, the best way to really describe mixed reality, augmented reality was more like bringing that tech into your physical realm. Mixed reality is exactly what it sounds. Now you're kind of blending the realms together, and the best example as always, and I know it's kind of funny for right now, Beat Saber. So Beat Saber shows us that full on mixed reality where it's realism that's blended within that virtual reality. Now there's two different ways to really get into mixed reality. It's either you meet the virtual world halfway, which is like Beat Saber, or you can reverse it the other way, bring a lot of textures into your world, kind of like what Pass-Through does with Quest. And now Apple and Quest right now are now focusing on this for the next, I guess I would say definitely for the next decade of technology is going to be mixed reality, trying to blend the realms together to give us an easier transition to get into tech. So the first one was augmented reality, where you're spicing up the tech, you're kind of just sprinkling it in and out. It's not necessarily mixed reality yet, augmented reality. You're just bringing some of those digital dynamics and allowing you to just be physically here and kind of just spot it somewhere and you can see augmented reality. Wow, mixed reality, you're kind of taking that extra step to be blended together. So one way meeting into the virtual reality realm, or if you bring the pass-through realm, which is you're still physically here while having something on like a headset, and you look around, you can see the pass-through where now your physical objects are joined in with you while you're the primary state of the virtual reality's perspective. Well, there's two different types of ways, but the easiest way to really understand mixed reality is the way Beat Saber is. That's just a huge example that everybody's very familiar with. Like those are very popular videos on TikTok and YouTube. Beat Saber is usually like a top game for everybody that kind of mainstreams and recognizes it. They push it heavily in their marketing. It shows that blending of the virtual world and just showing your physical body kind of interacting with the game. And there's a lot of other games like that, but Beat Saber is usually the most known example for that. Last but not least is definitely virtual reality in hindsight. Now we don't know how long and how far virtual reality is right now, and Apple Vision Pro has done this the right way. They're actually just touching base on augmented reality and mixed reality. They didn't really even touch the VR portion that much, while Meta is really going heavily in virtual reality, where it actually takes the aspect of putting on your headset, games, social interaction, fitness, and more, while Apple is kind of integrating the corporate business centralized type of AR. Why is Apple Vision Pro winning doing this? That's the real question. Well, when you talk about virtual reality, it takes a lot of hardware, equipment, time. People like things that are easy, especially nowadays. We want things like easy, simplified, that can help us out and just get into the situations. That's why we always pick up our phones and everything. Virtual reality takes a lot of things to calibrate, to set up, to buy, to spend. Now you're thinking Apple Vision Pro is expensive too. It's true, but but it's actually a better transition into understanding the tech than what Meta is doing. Meta is for people that understand virtual reality already and definitely want to play games heavily on gaming and that immersion experience, but it's for the early adopters of virtual reality and them that understand the hardware aspect. It's a huge leap and bound to describe that metaverse. The metaverse is such a far-fetched notion for now, depending on how advanced and how rapid our tech can move it. While AR and mixed reality are right now, because why we're blending, it's a transition, it's a slower transition, and it's a marathon from AI being relevant now to augmented reality being relevant right now. Mixed reality probably the next 2 to 3 to maybe 2 to 5 years, and then eventually the virtual reality is probably fully mastered. Now these are smaller steps in order to get us into virtual reality, but virtual reality is actually a full escapism of physical, literally like Ready Player One. Augmented reality, the best example is Pokemon Go. Mixed reality, the best example is Beat Saber, and virtual reality, the #1 example is literally the #1 example. Watch Ready Player One and it gives you that full breakdown of what virtual reality is. You literally are escaping your life and you're getting into this avatar, to this metaverse, to this oasis in their terms, which we hope does not happen. Those are the main affiliations and examples of these terms. Apple has adopted just 2 of those terms for now. They wanted the augmented, they wanted the mixed reality. The reason why they're leaving out that far-fetched virtual reality because Apple is trying to introduce us into advanced tech and to help the mainstream commercialized audience transition into brand new tech and understand tech, starting with corporations first, because they're gonna be implementing everything until getting it into consumers' hands, kind of like an early dev kit type style. And that's very important because Apple has been known for that already when they introduced everything. All their tech is just, it's a transitional period and it's a lifelong series of what they do. And so this is only their first part of that series, which is why I believe that Apple Vision Pro is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing in terms of getting the audience. Nobody has a bigger audience than Apple. I utilize all Apple products still to this day. This is the first time that any type of augmented reality, mixed reality, or virtual reality headset has been talked about this much in a while, aside from Meta. But Meta's more culturally in the VR culture, but as far as just a commercial audience and different tech organizations, Apple has done a great job in bringing awareness right now just off of that alone. So when it starts getting into people's hands, it's really going to advance everything. Now obviously you're like, man, this is a lot of money. That's very true, but whoever does get a hold of this type of tech, same like how we spend on MacBooks and how we spend on iPhones and more, if it becomes somewhat of an easier realm to get it, like a finance perspective or anything, this is going to help out so much. They're bringing that augmented reality, that Pokemon Go type situation on top of mixed reality, like that Beat Saber / pass through where you can see objects in your area, and they proved it with their headset. You can actually see through the headset, the transparency of it, which is amazing. Gives us the training wheel as a whole society to understand virtual reality, which can then be evolved way later to get us into virtual reality, which is a full world, but it has to be seamless. And right now Apple understands that it's not seamless to really jump that far. A mild transition in order to help out. Yo, y'all gotta let me know what's up, man. Like Apple Vision Pro, I feel in my opinion is doing the right thing aside from price alone, but if there's finance options, other types of student discounts and all this, I think it's gonna get into a lot of people's hands, and the more it can get into consumers' hands, because they already have the awareness. Apple is Apple regardless, and so there will be the bigger name providing any type of like augmented, mixed reality, virtual reality, but they just got to get into much more of the consumer's hands, and I believe that will happen at some notion, and then they eventually graduate into this virtual reality, which will then look like the Ready Player One that everybody's thinking about. Yeah, I appreciate y'all so much. Leave some comments in the comment section below. I love this topic because the tech is continuously graduating as we're going from artificial intelligence to augmented reality to mixed reality and eventually virtual reality, which we hope for pretty soon, man. Sooner than later for sure, man. Y'all let me know what's up. I appreciate y'all so much. Hit us up with a thumbs up, subscribe. Peace.